Coming on video cassette. A world of fire, fury, passion, and mystery. From director Ron Howard. Backdraft. Coming November 7th from MCA Universal Home Video.
CGQ Plus.
This time on Weekend Rental, YouTube's hottest new show takes on a whole new meaning as we check out the Firemen for the Super Famicom and kind of the Super Nintendo. Before we get started with that, though, just real quick, I don't want to turn this into a commercial, but we got the new Weekend Rental stickers in the shop, the CGQ shop, so you can go buy those right now if you want. See, they're sparkly. I don't know if you can tell. They're sparkly. They're kind of like the stickers you would have bought out of a vending machine when you were a kid, 50 cents or whatever. Link is down in the description, and there's lots of other stuff, mostly stickers, that you can also pick up while you're there. But today we're here to talk about the Firemen, and this is a really cool game that I'm surprised. I guess I'm kind of surprised I'd never heard of it. I've talked about this before. I didn't get a Super Nintendo until I was in my late 20s. And so it's a little bit of a blind spot for me. Like, I can still discover stuff like this that I never knew about. But in my defense, the Firemen never came out in North America, which is weird because they did translate and localize the game for a Western release, but then they only released it in Europe. So that's the version that we're going to play because I have a 60 hertz patched PAL ROM. So we're just going to play that. So it will all be in English. If you are going to play the game, you should find the patched version, or if you just get the European ROM, you can patch it yourself. You can just get the patch on romhacking.net, but that way it'll play properly on North American hardware. Unless if you're using an emulator, I don't know if you need to bother doing that or not. I'm not smart enough to understand the whole 60 hertz patching thing. I just know I'm supposed to do it. So but my friend Charlie, I was telling my friend Charlie about the game, and I mentioned how it never came out here, and he has a theory as to why it didn't, and I think it's a good one. If you took like 15% Die Hard and mixed it with like 85% Backdraft, the movies, you would come up with the Firemen, the game. And so his theory was maybe it borrows a little too liberally from Backdraft, and if they had released it here, they might have gotten sued. I think the game is close enough to Backdraft. I think they should have just released it here, called it Backdraft, and just gotten the movie license, and that would have been cool. But I mean, I'm not sure how popular that movie was when it came out. I loved it because we had my mom bought it, a previously viewed VHS tape of it at the video store, so I watched Backdraft quite a few times. So, but for that reason, I would have loved this game back then. But so just real quick, anybody watching this, if you haven't seen Backdraft, you should watch it tonight. In fact, it's got Kurt Russell in it. He's like the star is Kurt Russell. I'll watch anything with Kurt Russell in it. And then the two other main characters are Scott Glenn, who was in, he played Alan Shepard in The Right Stuff. He played Captain Bart Mancuso in The Hunt for October, which is another one of my favorite movies. And then I don't remember the character's name, but he played Agent Starling's boss in Silence of the Lambs. And that character was directly based on the Mindhunter guy, Mindhunter, if you watched that on Netflix. But that's based on the books that the actual FBI profiler wrote. And the first one of those is actually called Mindhunter. That's where the name of the series came from. Anyway, who else is in the movie? Robert De Niro is in the movie in like a supporting role, which is, kind of interesting. But that's how good the role is that he was willing to take it, I guess. And then it's got the great Donald Sutherland in it. He's only in 2 scenes in the movie, but I mean, he just kills it. He plays a pyromaniac, little sick in the head guy. And it's got J.T. Walsh in it. And you might not know that guy by name, but if you go look up a picture, I'll put a picture right there of J.T. Walsh. Trust me, you've seen him in a lot of things if you watch a lot of 80s and 90s movies. So he played the only character I can name off that I remember him playing is he was that Colonel Markinson from A Few Good Men. Like he came and testified or whatever against Jack Nicholson's character, and then he goes into his hotel room and gets in his dress blues, and he takes out that like presentation Beretta that's all shiny and kills himself, sadly. I remember him from that anyway. And it's got like Rebecca De Mornay is like Kurt Russell's wife, and then that Jennifer Jason Leigh is William Baldwin's. Sorry, did I mention William Baldwin is in it? Alec Baldwin's little brother. He's like the three main characters basically is Kurt Russell, William Baldwin, and Scott Glenn. And yeah, so William Baldwin's in it. He's all right. But yeah, you should watch that movie. And then while we're talking about Kurt Russell, just real quick, I'm not going to talk about this movie, but if you've never seen The Best of Times, that's got Kurt Russell and Robin Williams in it. There's the movie poster right there. So it's just a good Kurt Russell movie that maybe you haven't seen before. You should check it out. But anyway, we're here to talk about The Firemen. The Firemen came out in 1994. I think that's the Super Famicom release. It might not have come out in Europe until 95. But that game was made by Human. And I've talked about Human before only because for the longest time, I didn't know that there was a developer called Human. And so when I got Human Sports Festival for the PC Engine, I thought it was just like a weird name for a game. You know, like why would you name your game Human Sports Festival? Because I didn't understand it was like that's who made the game. But Humans made definitely some other stuff that you would have heard of. They are who actually developed Stadium Events, which is like the famously rare and expensive NES game, and then also Athletic World, which I guess is kind of what replaced it. I got some other stuff written. Oh, yeah, we just talked about them on a read-through last year because they did Kabuki Quantum Fighter, which that game's got kind of cheesy-looking ads, but Kabuki Quantum Fighter for the NES is actually a pretty good game. They did Vasteel, the Vasteel games for the PC Engine, which I think the first one came out here on the Turbo CD. Android Assault for the Sega CD, which I think in Japan is just called Bari Arm. But that's a really good game, Android Assault. They did another game for the Super Famicom called Septentrion, and that's a really, really cool game. It's this very like cinematic game where you're on like a luxury ocean liner, like something like the Titanic. And like you get into some bad weather and the ship starts sinking and you have like 60 minutes to get off the ship. But just the way it's presented and everything, it's very theatrical, but very dark. That game did come out here on the Super Nintendo, but very disappointingly, they changed the name and it came out here as SOS. Not to be confused, there's another game called SOS on the Super Nintendo. That's some kind of weird cartoony like platform game. I haven't really played it. I have no opinion about that SOS. But it's just, you have a game like Septentrion, which I think is a very cool name for a game. And then you decide you're going to change the name for the American release, but you're going to change it to like the most obvious, generic, ham-handed thing you can think of. That's very disappointing. But at the end of the day, it doesn't really matter. The point is, you can play that game on your Super Nintendo. SOS, I think we should all call it Septentrion. And then I just wrote down here, they did Clock Tower. These are PlayStation games now. Clock Tower and Mizurna Falls. So both of those good games. Oh, yes, I did write down here. Came out September 9th, 1994 on the Super Famicom. And then sometime in May or June of 95 on the Super Nintendo. And that's all I have to say. Now we can just dig right into the game. So I'm going to go ahead and switch the view. So we're playing the game on my jailbroken Super NT. So you see the little Super NT splash screen. People like to shut off the splash screen. I kind of like it, so I leave it. So again, this is jailbroken, so the game is just on the SD card. So we have to go down to ROMs. And like I said, the game did not come out here in the US. So you're not going to find it here. You would find it in Europe and Japan there, but we're not going to play either of those. We're going down to hacks, because then there's this subfolder called PAL to NTSC 60 Hertz patched. And this is a ROM set that you can find like on the Internet Archive, I guess, if you look. And so like in here, this is just like a ton of games where this is the European version, of a Super Nintendo game, and it's patched to run on North American hardware. So if for some reason you want to play like here, you want to play the German version of ActRaiser on your US Super Nintendo and have it run properly, you can. So my point is just these aren't all like European exclusive games or anything. So here is Firemen. So we're going to load that up. And while that's booting, I just wanted to say real quick, one thing I forgot to mention about Backdraft is that it was directed by Ron Howard. And Ron Howard, I don't want to say always, but usually puts his brother Clint into his movies, like gives him, generally small roles. And he has just one scene in Backdraft where he plays like a pathologist or a coroner or something. And I think he does a good job. It's just a good scene. So I'm going to go into the config here real quick, just so you can see the controls. So you use all four face buttons here. So Y is upward spray, which is just spraying your hose straight ahead. B is downward spray, so you're like spraying the ground, and you'll see why. X is you tell Danny to throw an extinguishing bomb, which imagine it's just like a hand grenade that puts out fire. And then A is crawl. You hold down A, you can crawl along the ground, which at some points of the game you have to do. And then this is weirdly worded, set direction of spray, and you can decide which of the two shoulder buttons it's going to be, but it's just strafe. So I don't know why they don't just call it strafe. And then of course you can change it from there's a I didn't even see that before, difficulty level there. I just leave it on normal. And then down here, because this is the European release of the game, you can change it into French and German, which of course we're not going to do. So we'll go ahead and start the game, and we're going to get a little plot crawler going here. And I'm going to let that go just because it sort of sets the stage of the game. It takes place in the distant future of 2010. Civilization has progressed little in the last 20 years. That's a weird line to put in there because it has nothing to do with anything. But I mentioned that the game had a little bit of Die Hard to it, and that's because of what it says there. It's winter in New York. The annual Christmas party at the Metrotech Chemical Company building is underway. That and the fact that you're in a high-rise is the way it's sort of Die Hard-esque. But really, it's mostly, like I said, borrowing heavily from Backdraft. So as you can imagine, it's the chemical company, so they're storing a lot of chemicals in the building, and that makes the fire spread rapidly. So you've got Pete and Danny are the two characters. Pete is actually who you play as he's the captain of the 5-person unit. Daniel, his partner, is in second in command, which seems weird to me because in the game, like, Danny really seems like the young guy, like almost like he's a trainee or something. But apparently he's second in command. And that says here, apparently there's a large supply of the chemical MDL in the basement of the building. And that's, this explosive chemical. So your first objective with the game is like, we got to try to get to the MDL. And then everything just sort of goes haywire from there. And then it just says, Pete and Daniel will enter the building through the east entrance. And then, that's kind of it. So we can move on. So now we're in the building. MDL should be in the middle of room D in the basement. Stairs leading to the basement are marked in red on the map, and that's at the upper part of the screen in the middle is your map there. Building's too big. See, Danny wants to wait for backup just like a trainee, but who's that? Max. They'll be here any second. And then Pete says, "No, let's roll." And then just real quick, upper left part of the screen there, you've got your timer. So you only have 10 minutes to complete the level, which is plenty of time. Upper right is your life bar. You only get one life per game or whatever. You get 3 continues, but you get 1 life per continue, or per credit, I guess. So, you want to play the game carefully. And then down in the lower right there, you see we have 2 of those explosive, or extinguishing bombs, rather. So this is spraying your hose straight ahead, which you use to put out, like, normal flames. And then see here, I can strafe. And then you see over here, there's these flames that are kind of like, it's just little flames on the ground. And this is where you would need to use the downward spray. You do not have to go through the level and put out all of the fire. That's not the point of the game at all. This is like an action game. But, you know, the fire is obviously in your way. And then as the game... oh, no, the doors are locked. So you have to go a different way. You know, as you progress, the fire starts taking sort of different forms. Like you see, that was like fire that was crawling right towards us. And the game keeps introducing sort of new quote-unquote enemies in the form of fire. And so in that sense, it's like I said, it's like an action game. And this level reminds me of like the first level of like Super Mario Brothers or Doom, where it's trying to show you everything to teach you how to play the game. And like that's why it makes the comment about like, oh, you shoot the window, and he says, oh, fragile glass, because later in the game you have to shoot out the windows with your hose, and so now you already know that you can do that. So I mean, I just have a tendency to come put all the fire out. And the game kind of does give you a score for how much of the fire you put out at the end of each level, but I'm not really sure. There's no points. Oh no, the bridge has collapsed. Only way to get there is by walking through the river. So now you have to figure out how to get in the river. There's no points, so I don't really know what the point is of maximizing how much of the fire you put out. But at the end of the levels, you do get your health restored. And so I wonder if you kind of speed run through the game and don't put out enough fire, maybe it doesn't restore all your health. Danny's getting a life reading on his detector. Let's get over there quick. So there's like survivors in the game that you can save. And that's the only other way that you restore health, besides getting your health restored at the end of each level. If you find survivors and rescue them, you'll get some of your health restored. And so now you can see, like, in the upper part of the screen right next to the clock, there's sort of like that little EKG looking deal. And as you get closer to the survivor, the heartbeats will become more frequent and the amplitude goes up. You can see now it's getting like loud and fast. And there's the survivor. So Danny's checking on him. Oh, he can't move his leg. Are you alone? Yes. Anyways, so he's going to tell Max, go check the meeting room. May still be some people in there. He'll do that. And then Pete tells Danny to go get the survivor to safety. And so now, if I had any missing health, it would have gotten restored. And if you choose, you can go up here and put these fires out, but you don't really have to. And then over here, for some reason, so there are like pickups hidden throughout the game. Like you can pick up more of those explosive or extinguishing bombs, excuse me. But so this WC of course is just a nice way of saying the bathroom. I can't see the point of this being here. I've never found anything in the bathroom, but every time I play the game, I come in here and look. Because I'm like, did I miss something, or what is that there for? I don't know. But so we have to go down here to get to the next area. All right, control. So this building has control robots that are malfunctioning. So like that's what that is. And then you just spray it with your hose to make it blow up. But then you want to make sure that you're not standing near it when it blows up, or you'll get hurt. Oh yeah, see, there's a pickup there. We can get another extinguishing bomb. So now we have 3. Other than that, that was a dead end. So you see, like, your character of Pete is the only one that has a hose. Danny just has an axe. And see, he just sort of chops at the fire because, everybody knows that, if you don't have water or some other kind of fire retardant, just chop the fire and you'll put it out. I'm no fireman, but that's my understanding. The architect who designed the building is on his way over. He'll be here in about 15 minutes. There's some pretty funny dialogue between Pete and the architect of the building. This is another good spot to use strafe. Oh yeah, this is just a stairwell, so there's no fire. You can see now we're down in the basement. Let's try going under the pipe. So yeah, see, we can't go this way, so we have to go this way. And you see that there's sort of flame shooting out of that pipe, so we have to crawl under it like that. And then you can actually take a shortcut here and go this way. There's nothing over there, so. Can't go through there. Later in the game, Danny's life, detector or whatever starts malfunctioning. And so you kind of want to get into the habit of exploring the levels, because later you're going to have to if you want to find the survivors. Which, again, you need to do because that's how you get some of your life restored. Okay, there's a wall of flame ahead. So this is now the level 1 boss. And like I said, all of the enemies in this game are fire. So this is just boss fire. And you can kind of get your hose in between. Like, he's got those little flames around him that partially shield them, and then they'll shoot out. You already saw it happen once. See, they shoot out. Normally, I save the extinguishing bombs for the boss battles, but this boss is not really a big deal, so I'd rather save those bombs for later. There you go. See, end of boss. I didn't even lose any life, so. And see, that's what I was saying. So fire rate. So fire rate 99%. Like, I don't know what you get for that. Must be the MDL. Great, we've got it. So we got the MDL out of there, but now there's a fire in the boiler room. So now we got to go take care of that. And so now the game's going to introduce a new enemy here. So now you have this fire here. See, that crawls back and forth and just sort of like sets fire to the carpet. And you can hear the little life meter thing, or whatever you want to call it, is going off because we've got a survivor that we need to go rescue. And then this room rather is kind of interesting. You've got these fans up here, and so you see like Pete's just getting sucked in. But there's a screen there. You can't actually get like sucked into the fan blades or anything, but you could sort of get sucked into one of the other flames. All right, so if we go that way, it's a dead end, and that's not where the survivor is, so we just got to go around this way. I think this game does a good job of trying to get you out of a room when there's something you're supposed to do. Because now, see, it's scaring you like, oh, we got to get out of here. But you actually have to go up here to rescue this person, but again, my life is still full. So, oh man, he blacked out. So Danny's going to go rescue that guy, and then in the meantime, we can head to the next room. So now we have another new enemy. Now we have these like little flying fireballs that come at us. Now you just have to kind of do a 360 with your hose. This is kind of cool. You see, we're walking under this thing, and so you know, you can kind of see underneath it. That's kind of neat. All right, nothing over here, so we got to go the other way. And then now I'm not doing the controls, they're just running because now the boiler room just blew up. Nice, we can't go that way. And then there's these pipes running up the wall back here. And see, they blow up. So you want to stay away from them. I mean, I think you can just run through there real fast. Oh, and then here's another new enemy. So now you have these puddles of fire that go along the ground, and then you have to use your downward spray to get rid of them. Save those guys. There you go. Alright, so now we're through there. And then this next room, like this is a total, watch out, there's containers flying around. This is like a total Backdraft ripoff. So there's, you know, you're on a catwalk, and underneath the catwalk are 55-gallon drums that blow up, which is straight out of the last scene, or I guess sort of not the last scene, but the climactic ending scene in Backdraft. So basically, you just don't want to be anywhere near those things when they blow up. But sometimes they can be kind of hard to spot down there. So you just got to do your best. Oh, see, like we got nailed by one right there. And then coming up right here is going to be the, yeah, see, it's dangerous in here. Let's go. This is going to be the level 2 boss. So now we're on this catwalk, and we still have these 55-gallon drums floating by, but we also have this ball of fire. But see, this is on the ground or whatever, so we have to hit it with the downward spray. But what we can also do is we can use... See, like, that's the extinguishing bomb. And so 2 of those plus some extra spray. That's the end of that guy. Now our life just got refilled. 93% fire rate. And it looks like we got some time added to the clock. Now we have 12 minutes. All right, this Weller, see, architect just got here. This is Frank Weller. This gets a little snippy. Where'd you study architecture? Windows are shattering left and right. Emergency doors have jammed. And then Frank's more worried about his own ego here. Sprinkler systems failed, I don't see any other fire precautions. And then here's Frank. What's that supposed to mean? Are you trying to tell me I don't know my job? It's like... And then Danny here is trying to act as a mediator. Oh, take it easy, Mr. Weller. So now, okay, if you want a sprinkler system, there's a water tank on top of the building. The water tank can be controlled from the control room on the 3rd floor. And that's going to continue later. Pete does not care for Frank Weller. So now we have kind of another new enemy. Now we have this crawling fire. But see, this crawling fire comes at you instead of just staying in a straight line. So now we have these new sort of droids. These don't take as many or as much water, I guess, if you like to kill, but they move much faster. And you can see that you know, Danny's little life detector thing is going off because we've got somebody in here to save. All right, we might get some rain. Danny says if we don't get rain, we may not be able to put out the fire. I don't know how much help rain would be to a burning high-rise. So this is another place where I would say this is kind of borrowing from Backdraft is that now we're going to have... sorry. Now we're going to have these holes opening up in the floor underneath us, which, again, comes out of that climactic scene in the movie. And as you can see, if you fall into a hole, you don't fall through and die, but you lose a lot of your health. So let's try not to do that again. So now we can't go out that door, so we have to cut through this thing, which appears to be some kind of lab with these robotic arms. I mean, this is a chemical company, so that makes sense. All right, so now we're outside. We've got a ladder truck out here. We can get you guys to a passageway. So now we have to get on top of this. I guess that's the cherry picker on top of the ladder. But then while we're up here, these little flying fireballs are going to come get us. So now you've got to guard yourself and Danny doing some 360s with your hose. And it says we got to break a window to get into a room, so you just got to go up here and spray this enough. There you go. And now I just lost most of my life because I was standing too close. So we might die pretty soon. And then we're going to get into the next area in which this game borrows from the movie. Danny, there's going to be a much greater risk of backdraft from here on in. Yeah, we better be careful when we open doors from now on. You can see the life detector thing is going off, but I don't even remember where that person is. So, and like I said, we have almost no life left, so possible we're going to lose our first life here, but I'll do my best. Oh, there we go. All right. One of the security robots went berserk. Leave it to me. I'll take care of the rest. All right. We got most of our life back. That's excellent news. And I think this is the level 3. Oh, yeah. This is the next boss. Danny's not really helping me that much here. Wow, with like one sliver of life. Oh yeah, we got all of our life back there. Fire rate only 77%. That's not very good. Can you get to the control panel at the back of the room? Oh yeah, there's going to be more snippiness here, I think. Danny can't make it work. Oh, he kicks it. Weller, the panel is damaged. What? That last explosion must have come from this room. It's charred things pretty good. We'll have to break open the water tank then. That tank is made of half-inch steel. How are you going to open it? This is a European/Japanese game, so shouldn't that have said like 1 centimeter? Oh, we can use the MDL to blow up the water tank. All right, I guess it wasn't Snippy. Sorry about that. False alarm. Oh, there's a gym. I didn't even see that. Oh, we gotta go this way. Oh, stupid Danny. Man, we're getting our butts handed to us now. Oh, it died. All right, well, I'm going to do one continue and that's it. This is already getting long enough. Seems like we're in like the kitchen, which according to the beginning of the game is how this fire started. Oh, we just found another bomb. And we've got our little life detector going off. Oh yeah, here we go. happened to the survivor we were looking for? Well, we can't go that way anyway. Oh, okay. I think I see where we're going. Ooh, there's another extinguishing bomb. Now we've got 3. That's good. Is there anything interesting over here? No. Oh, the lights are falling now? And I got me again. All right, I said I was only going to use one continue, so that's it. That's the continue. But, I mean, hopefully you can see. I mean, what a cool game that is, in my opinion. Real shame that it never came out here. Although, like I said, I'm guessing it was for, possibly litigious reasons or the possibility of litigation happening. So that's it. That's going to do it for this episode of Weekend Rental. Don't forget to pick up your Weekend Rental sticker. You can see, hopefully, how big it is. It's not that big. It's like 3 inches across. I thought they were going to be bigger. I'm not going to lie to you. But it's a good size. That's what she said. All right. You guys all have a good weekend. See you guys next time.